4 million podcast with my boy Boston Bobby, as we also call him, Uncle Bobby. Bobby, you know what? You have really obtained a lot of success in the direct selling affiliate marketing industry. Bobby, how did that start for you?
Well, back in '92, I was working corporate for Thomas's English Muffins. I was in management, and like everything, you're doing okay, but you're always looking to make more money. And someone approached me about the home-based business network marketing industry, and like a lot of people, I was skeptical of it. I heard things, well, it's a pyramid and all that crazy stuff. And then when I actually looked at it and understood leveraged income and residual income and the low barriers of entry, why wouldn't I try it? And it ended up being, I played with a few companies, and I had a company that I was with, ended up being with for 26 years, earned over $4 million, and had a great run with them. We parted ways in 2019, and I took a few years off conventionally, and now I'm back working with you, and hopefully we're going to crank this thing out again.
You're going to crank this thing out in many different ways. Next 4 million media is coming next. Be ready. We'll be talking about that in a couple of weeks. If you're looking to do a podcast or anything, you don't contact me, the media giant. You contact Bobby, and we'll set you up with a podcast, social media package, SEO. But that's for another podcast, because we're going to be interviewing lots of entrepreneurs, Bobby, and authors that are all looking to get their brand out there. And that's the key thing, is you've learned is it was all about your relationship marketing. Explain how your success in the affiliate marketing industry, what made you so good at it?
Well, I think what the biggest thing is, or misconception, is people think you have to be some type of a slick salesperson, and you really don't. I think what attracted people to my brand was just trying to be your authentic self. You should be that in life, period. That's the way you should live your life. And when people see your sincerity and they see that you're just, grounded and you really stand, yeah, of course I want to make money, but you also stand in this business. They say you can't make any money unless you take other people with you. And that's so true. And I think people saw that. They came on board with the company I was with. And we just had a great run. We built a sales team over 30,000 people. I brought in the top earner of that company to make it over $1 million a year. And it was a great run. Unfortunately, a couple of things went on. We didn't see eye to eye on a few things, but I have only the best words for that company. And of course, the relationships and people that I met.
The relationships of people you met has gotten you back into this industry after 2019. And it's more because of biohacking. Mr. Hot Yoga you are. But let's kind of go into, specifically enough why you want to keep young. Why do you want to still be active? I don't know your age, Bobby. That's not my question, but a lot of people see.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, tell us.
Well, I am 67, and I went through a little bout with cancer, and it was a supposedly a very dangerous cancer, but I kind of went through it. Kind of breezed through it, to be honest with you. I think, and I relate that a lot to, with that other company, we had nutritional supplements, and I've always been one that believes in, not fanatically, but eating properly, exercise, and hot yoga as I'm doing now, and supplementation. And so when I got back into the industry after making $4 million, a lot of people would call me, and a lot of the companies are supplement-based, product companies. And so we've hooked our wagon up, me and you, of course, to about 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
And we're going to be, living forever, because we're not only we trying to build those models out, but we're consuming their great wellness products. So yeah, let's live to 100 and make some money along the way.
Exactly. Or more than 100. You're going to have that mindset. It's amazing what the biohacking ability, and those products are all going to be next4million.com, and we'll kind of have that information at the top and then just drive people there, or DM me if you're listening on the Neil Haley show to what Bobby and I are doing. And we're going to have a lot of guests, but more, we're going to talk business on this podcast. And I think you really have because you've led big organizations in the direct selling industry. How big were your teams at one point, Bobby?
Well, as I said, in my other company had over 30,000 people. And, some people come in based on just taking the product and of course you come on board, you get it at a wholesale rate. If you order monthly, if you will, they call it subscription customer. And if that's all you're looking for is wellness and longevity, that's fine. There's a place for you. I think me and you are looking to build a sales team out, and to do that, we need to have more entrepreneurial people that understand residual income, understand leveraged income and what it takes. And the fact that without any big investment, you don't have to quit your job. It's a model that makes perfect sense.
It makes complete sense, especially for people who are struggling. And I think that's the other part you saw, is that if you're going to live forever, then you got to go ahead and get more opportunity, right? It's like, your money will be there for a certain amount of time, but if you want to live the lifestyle you want to live, you have to have passive income. Define why passive income is so great.
Well, look, there's nothing wrong with doing what we have to do to make a living and pay the bills, whether it's working one job, two job, three job. I get that. But what I'm looking for, and what I really believe in, people should always be thinking, what can I do on the side? Because they got to keep their job. What can I do to create that passive income? And the home-based business, especially the industry we're in, the network marketing industry, I think is just the best one we could possibly do, because it's not, you could do a side gig and drive for Uber or something and make an extra, couple hundred a week, but you're still trading time for money. The industry that we're partnered with and we're blowing out with, with people potentially, is something where you could build it at your own pace. Again, no major investment, couple $100 maybe. Keep your job, and you helping other people. You're building a sales team. So yeah, people say, do I have to talk to anyone? Well, if you want to build a marketing team, you have to. Now, the idea is it's all right here. If you think you're bothering people by showing them the opportunity of the products, then that's what you're doing in your mind. But if you got that mindset that, doggone it, I'm not the only one in the boat that's looking to make more money, wants a better lifestyle. All the people I know, and, people that have money, guess what? They usually see this model first because they understand residual income, and they all want more money. We used to say, and I used to speak across the country, people are just broke at a higher level, okay? They make more money, but they spend more money. So we always want another stream of income. And this business, as I said, yeah, it can be a couple $100 a month, but it could also be six figures residual, where I didn't work for 26 years and brought home six figures every year. That's something that my friends with their master's degrees didn't even do. So, and I crawled out of high school. So my point is, this is a business model that I think appeals to. I had executives, I had dentists, doctors, lawyers, but I also had people that worked at McDonald's, because it's an open avenue, an open field. And as long as everyone can find a few motivated people, and people lead to people, the littlest guy in the world can bring in a six-figure income if he puts his mind to it. And yeah, gets a little lucky with who he finds. Okay.
And it's about finding people that see the opportunity, see the product. And I think the products have gotten better, haven't they, Bobby, since when you started?
Absolutely. Some of the highest quality supplementation is from home-based business network marketing companies, because they don't have to pay that money out on advertising and celebrity endorsements. So they could really put that money back into the product itself. And it's just amazing what we can do from a product standpoint, but also from that earning income standpoint. And again, Neil, not to minimize where you're at, this is about building sales teams. And guys, if you understand that Neil is going to be able to bring us a lot of motivated people, and once you understand the structure, there's only so many places we can put all these people that are going to be coming into our organization. And then sometimes it's going to be all underneath your organization. That doesn't mean we don't want you to go to bat and bring find some people who are looking yourself, but you have a great advantage working with one of the biggest media guys out there, Neil Haley, who's going to help us build our sales teams.
No doubt. And it's the reason is because of how you get that out there. It's about getting that information out there. And everyone has their market. They have their 100 raving fans, and they got to attract those 100 raving fans. And this is where you're learning the digital side of things, because you did things totally different. Phone, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm an old school. So, we were taught make a names list, your Uncle Harry, your brother-in-law, and pick up the phone and call them. And, it worked. Guess what? It worked for years that way. And we're not against what we call the warm market. But I think with social media, we always used to say there's more people out there who are looking that you don't know than the people that you do know. So if we can tap into not only the warm market, but also dig into the cold market who are actually looking, we can blow this out of the water.
100%. All right. Best place to go, next4million.com. It'll be in all the information. And look forward next week. Either we're going to do a podcast or we're going to have two guests. So that's going to be the fun thing. I go get rolling on this, and we'll have some interesting guests. Appreciate it, Bobby.
All right. You bet.
All right. That was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show. And the next